Ladies and gentlemen of the media, you may be surprised as to why did we call this press conference, and that is how things are, and that is how we work. Last night, you must have got a message in your social media, a letter written by the first Vice President to the President of the Republic. That letter was addressed to the President of the Republic and copied to about 16 persons. The objective of this press conference is this letter. Of course, you have seen the letter written on the 27th, yesterday. After being written yesterday, it was delivered to the office of the President at 4:30 p.m. And you saw it in the social media at about 5 or 6 in the evening. Those of you who did not get it, you should have got it, because it is in the social media. So I did not bother myself to publish it for you again, but here it is available wherever it is. I decided to call this conference in order to clarify some of the issues connected with this letter. This letter was written, of course, on the 27th of February 2025 by His Excellency Dr. Riek Machar, the first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, and the Chairman of the SPLM-AIO. This letter was written to His Excellency the President of the Republic, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, and the subject was a request for a meeting to discuss the security situation in Upper Nile State, Western Equatoria State, and Western Bahr al-Ghazal State. Our main problem is that it's not the request, but the way things are being done. Yesterday, when the letter was taken to the office of the President had already gone home. So the minister in the office of the President decided to keep it for this morning, so that it is presented to him and then he will act on it and give the necessary directives. Instead, the letter appeared last night in the social media before it could even reach the person to whom it was addressed. This is the irregularity which we are trying to address. And the issues which have been also raised in that letter are issues which have nothing to do with the people who have been copied. If you read through, you will find that it is copied to so many people, about 16 people who are copied. And none of them is a South Sudanese, but these are people of the region and the regional organizations. So this is the main problem. Ladies and gentlemen, the objective of this press conference is to clarify to the public and media houses the unfortunate, unprocedural trend taken by the above quoted letter. The letter was written on the 27th February and delivered to the office of the President at 4:30 p.m. at the time when His Excellency had already gone home, so it was to be brought to his attention this morning. On the 27th February, the same evening, the above quoted letter appeared in the social media at a time when it had not yet reached the addressee, His Excellency President, and above all, what is this abnormality that justified publication in the social media against the ordinary established norms, correspondences, and requests for audience or meetings. Under the normal circumstances, when you request a meeting, you don't publish your request. And this is not the first time that requests have been presented. So what is particular about this request being presented at this time and tabled and sent to the social media? This is the issue. In that letter, there are so many things that have been raised, and as it says, the letter says, to quote, "I'm prompted to raise these issues to the guarantors so that they could intervene and suggest amicable solutions to break the deadlock in question." So the question is, where did the parties reach the deadlock, which is mentioned here? Meanwhile, they did not first sit and then disagreed. It is after disagreement that you can talk of a deadlock. So it is after the deadlock that you can now talk of seeking solutions from the guarantors. The letter was addressed to the president, was not addressed to the guarantors, and he is seeking intervention of the guarantors. And the issues which have been raised here have nothing to do with the guarantors, because the guarantors do come in after having reached a deadlock. But these people never sat down so that they reach a dialogue which will justify the intervention of the guarantors. The issues raised are very clear. The issues of Western Equatoria, Northern, that was not in Western Bahr Ghazal and Upper Nile State. You know very well what is happening in Western Equatoria. Western Equatoria, after the removal of Governor Futeyo, the people of Western Equatoria decided to go on rampage, and they ransacked the house of the governor. This, you have all seen it. There is no army there which was in uniform attacking the house of the governor, but this was the civil population. Now, there comes in a question as to why did President Salva decide to remove government Putiu. He decided to remove him because he had been intransigent. Mabesma Kalam does not listen to the orders of the president, does not listen to the directives of the president. He acts at will. The people of Western Equatoria were fed up of him. The president requested the first vice president so many times to remove this man and bring in another person to substitute him. But what happened? Nobody, the first vice president had not been listening to that. And the agreement, by the way, should not be misunderstood and should not be misinterpreted and abused. The President of the Republic is the President of the Republic, and he is the one responsible for security of the people of South Sudan. He is responsible for the protection of the rights of the people of South Sudan. Yes, the agreement, the current government is the government of the agreement, at the top of whom is the President of the Republic. And if he is dissatisfied with the performance of any official in the agreement who is from any other party, he has the right to ask that party to remove that person and replace him. And nobody has the right to refuse and say, no, I'm not removing him because he is my candidate and he is my best man. No. This is what it is. So when a party decides to refuse not to change that person or remove him and nominate another person, meanwhile he is not performing well and not delivering to to the people in the state or even here at the national government, the president has the right to do that, because he is the one responsible for our security and for protection of our people and their properties. So this is what happened. When the president requested the removal of Futuyo, it was resisted for long, and as such he decided to use his powers in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and relieve Futuyo, and requested IO to nominate. According to this letter now, they have nominated. I don't know whether that nomination has gone to the office of the president or not, but according to this letter now, they have nominated the substitute for Futuyo. Now, when this happened, there was a mob in Western Equatoria, and people decided to go on rampage. The acting governor, who is the deputy governor, decided to protect the people, the family of the governor, and all the government employees. Protected them, and even the family of Futuyo, which is his wife and his children, they are now in the house of the deputy governor. Now IO here goes in to say all these people have been tortured, captured, tortured, and so forth. That is not the case, and that is not true. What happened in Western Equatoria is not the act of anybody. They are accusing the SPLM in government, which is not true, but it is the people. Even those who went there, some of them are IOs, those who were dissatisfied with the performance of Futuyo. They are citizens and they have the right to say their word. The letter was not addressed to the guarantors. They were only copied, and they are not expected to intervene. Internamantektiv jawabu tedini copy. It is just for me to note. They are meant for me to note, not to react or intervene. If you read the gist of the letter talks about a letter being sent to the president and to the guarantors. The guarantors cannot just intervene in a letter which was not written to them. They were copied. But if you read the body of the letter, it says that it is addressed to them. If you wanted to address a letter, address it to all of them, so that they can all react to it. But when you copy them, it means that you want only the person to whom the letter is addressed to respond. Number 3, the violations at all times that take place in the SPLM-IO hell areas, and SPLM-IG always acts as the IG acts always as a fire extinguisher. Because المشاكل كله البظهر إن في مناطق بتاع الحركة، مناطق بتاع حكومة جنوب السودان, all these problems emanate in the SPLM hell areas. كله. So that is it, and we don't need to keep on creating problems for our civil population. We need to make sure that our people live in peace and harmony, and as such we need them to live in peace and harmony up to the elections, when they will decide their leadership. The current government needs to work in harmony, not to create issues which are unnecessary and not wanted at this time. For this meeting, which was requested and the letter was put in the social media, this meeting will still hold. It will be held. But why put it in the social media before it could even reach the owner? When you are writing a letter, when you write a letter and you copy some people, you don't even send the copies before the owner receives the original. You don't send the copies. You send copies after that. This is the normal procedure. But in this case, this is very funny and we are unable to understand what is that which was happening. The right people whom we should have copied, whom IO should have copied, would have been the vice presidents and the party signatory to the agreement. These are the right people. Because these are people who are living here with us. And they have all the solutions at hand. Whatever problems that come up are usually addressed through that. Not through those who are outside there. Those who are outside there are people of their own and they even like us to, would like to see us all the time in crisis so that we continue. So that they continue. To conclude, His Excellency the President is committed. Is committed to the implementation of the agreement of the RRCs in letter and spirit. And he is committed to the protection of the people of South Sudan and their properties. He is under duty, according to the provisions of the Constitution, he is under duty to protect the people, the lives of the people of South Sudan and their properties, irrespective of whatever the agreement says. Irrespective of whatever the agreement says, he is the one answerable and answerable before the people of South Sudan for their lives and their properties. So we should not misinterpret the provisions of the agreement, and we should not misinterpret the provisions of the Constitution, but make sure that we respect and abide by all this.